Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. I wear Miss Bunny Thighs. Who you calling Miss Bunny Thighs? Gotta shut the door. Don't want to be too annoying. Oh, my new short, yes. Do you think it'll get anyone's attention? It'll either cause nothing or cause chaos. I'm not sure which. Hi, Les. Look at you. Oh, that reminds me. You guys wanna do a quick stream promo with me? Da, 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 da. You guys don't forget to get your Ewoks too. Oh, my overlay's still on. That's embarrassing. You think it'll cause that? My Ewok! Yeah. You guys are gonna see behind the scenes stuff right now. You're welcome. Oh, wait a minute. Are you on Outlook? Are you tricked? Did you kill that spider? I don't think you did. He's gone. I don't know where he went. Liar, liar, boy. Let me change my, let's switch to like a just chatting for now while I work on this. All right, we're gonna hide all this. This can go away. And hide me. Now we're blank again. Okay, first I gotta get in my email and find the stuff. I gotta find the promo stuff I need. Let's see. Right here. Gotta find the promo stuff from the game company. We're checking out an early access game tomorrow with Red and Les at 3 p.m. I just gotta find, here we go. Just gotta find the press kit. Bending over backwards to relate. Logo. Yes, we definitely need this. Just trying too hard. Admittedly, it's closer than it is too far. And then we need, I can show you guys what I'm doing. Tee-hee! A tee-hee-hee! Yes, a screenshot would be good. Doesn't really matter which one. Yeah. We'll be on for like 3 hours. Ish. We'll get one of these guys. I don't know what I'll use him for, but let's download him anyway, just in case. Maybe I'll catch you. Yeah, possibly, yeah. Open. We will need this. This. We need red. We need this. Oh. I think that's everything. Look at Les. She's so pretty. All right. Let's get this first. Boom, boom, boom. Hi, Courtney. No, you pretty. No, you pretty. Look at you. Look at how pretty you is. I gotta move red. Red, you're in the wrong layer. I can't believe you would do something like that. Terrible. Such bad manners. Naughty fox. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh, ooh. How are you today, Courtney? Drop shadow. All right, then we need to add a chi. We gotta pick which chi to use. Actually, I'm moving away from... I changed my hair. Just chilling. We got rain instead of snow down here? No way. Lucky. It's snowing right now. Yeah, so we gotta get rid of all these cheese. We gotta bring in our new cheese. So I gotta delete these ones too. I don't need them, so there's no point in them taking up space in my computer. Angichi. This one will be good. I'll use this one. Right. Finger to the moon. I think I need to erase that a little bit more. Yeah. Put your pinky finger to the... Where did the... There it is. So player. I'm trying to make this all a little bit smaller. Oops. And then we need some text. Let's fight the feeling. Maybe I should put it down here. Quick watch the trailer. It looks like they stealth dropped a new Silent Hill movie in certain theaters. Looks like it's loosely based on Silent Hill 2. That's cool. Nice. Right on the inside. I want to change the color. Day one. I want it to be this dark outline. I feel like I'm... Crazy. What? Yeah, it looks better. It's my ADHD. Hour later. It's on his head. Cute. How's that look? What do you guys think? It's good, right? Made art in 2 minutes. I did. I have everything I need already kind of here. That's why. All right, and then we will export this to. I'll start with my thumbnails. Namakorium. Promo. For a good time. Without the $sign. Purple hair. Oh. Now for the Gooner one. No, don't be weird. It's a cute little cutesy early access game, you silly goose. Did you see the new Star Trailer for Mall? Yeah, I actually posted a short about it. I'm gonna post a clip on my YouTube, like a longer, full size clip of it too, of my reaction. I just have to edit it. Actually, I wasn't. One of my community members came to my stream on Friday night and was like, "Chi, did you watch this yet?" And I was like, "Fuck, I forgot." Cute and cozy game about cleaning the ocean. Cute and cozy co-op game. Ow! That was nice. Hi, Red. Oh, no, that's the wrong file. There we go. Finger slip, you lie. Oh, I spelled it wrong. There we go. How are you today, Red? I don't understand this post. Your first Ewok? Let's go. I'm in pain. Too much snow. Aw. Yeah, it's been snowing here since this morning, but I don't think we're supposed to get as much as you guys are. Les, are you on Twitter? I think you are, right? Yeah, you are. XPA was the new update broke. So oh yeah, I did see about that. That I knew about. LMN. For liking your guys' posts. Hey, doesn't bother me. More active on Twitter. Don't do it. You'll regret it. Just go to Blue Sky. It's better. They're not on here. They're not on Blue Sky. That's all right. Hi, Giga. She knows what's best. Just to get people's attention. It is. But honestly, It's almost useless on Twitter anymore unless you pay for a premium account. So unless you want to throw your money at Elon Musk, it's not going to really help you much, I'll be honest. Stinky cat breath? How are you today, Giga? Black Parade. Wow, Giga came and his theme song started. I'm not gonna say anymore. I know we got like 5 inches of snow. It's still snowing here right now. But I think we're only supposed to get like 3 or 4 inches. Nothing crazy. I think like out by Red, they're supposed to get like a couple feet. I'll think about it. If could avoid both and scream into the void to people's attention, I would. Right? Best song ever, right? Every time I hear this song, I think about you. Ever since that one time you sang it on your stream. A question mark? Wait, what do you mean? Just ice? Yeah, you were supposed to get ice down there. At least a foot? Yeah. Red will be remembered. At least a foot? Okay, so it changed a little. The snow seems to be a little bit less. Oh. Mistyped. Oh, I gotcha. MN. Oh, you were supposed to get snow? I saw, like, in the south it was going to be mostly ice. It's not so much they're together, but it's if you're like going to hit enter, you might bump it on the way to the enter key. I've definitely done that before. Yeah. Do you do you not use a standard keyboard, Les? I know like there's European ones that are different. Like they have different layouts. Uh Les is in Spain. It's probably gorgeous there. Little island. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah. I want to go there. Let's all go visit Les for a winter vacation. That sounds like way better than being here in this bullshit winter. To accommodate more letters? Oh. Oh. Because you have the letters with the symbols on top and stuff, right? Oh, to be quiet so you don't wake up the roommate, right? Let me look at plane tickets real quick and cry. Plus, I need a passport because I don't have one, so that's $300. All right, we're gonna change gears on the music. Oh, I need to change my... Wavy N and Cropsy. Yeah. Oh, Dropsy. Sedilla? Wait, it's probably pronounced Sedia. Plus, we need my global entry pass. What the heck is a global entry pass? I've never traveled outside the US, so I would have to start from scratch. Me too. I mean, I have never even been on an airplane. You've never been on an airplane? Yes, second one. Okay, that's what I thought. Because quesadilla has L's, but you don't say illa, you say ia. Quesadilla? Some redneck? Double L is a yeah sound, yeah. I'm in like 40 states. I drove all of them. You know what? Most of my traveling within the United States has also been in a car because I love to road trip as well. A pass so I don't have to go through US Customs and pre-TSA check. Oh, that's nice. How much extra does that cost on top of your passport? I actually love going on road trips. It's one of my favorite things to do. If I had the money, I'd go on a big road trip and visit all my online friends. $100 in an interview at an airport? Nice. So I need $400. Got it. Oh, I still have a full inventory. Alright, let me, get rid of some of this stuff. Likely poisonous. Okay. So what do I do with that? It sounds like I don't want to keep it. This is a hat. It doesn't say it can be used in crafting or anything. Les! You're the field of Mistria expert. Oh, I got a ton of these oils. Do I need to keep this red mushroom for anything? I can sell it? Okay, good. Take this stuff. We're in the last week of spring, by the way, guys. I'm kind of excited because I've never gotten into another season in this game before. This I need to take to the museum. This I'm gonna sell. All right. You can use them for a few building recipes, but they're easy to get. Okay. I should probably get some more crops. Let's go do that real quick. Bug. Oh yeah, that was the beetle that I dropped earlier. I also still need a dive spot so I can get a freshwater clam or something, whatever it's called. Money! Yay! Alright, what's in here? Shards? Wait, what are those? Some shards as part of my archaeological research. They can often be unearthed at dig sites. If you come across any, could you bring me some? Wait, is that specifically like at the dig site or like these spots? Like, isn't this a spot? No, it's not. Digging them around the map. Okay, those spots. The ones that have been giving me clay, right? And then what do I still need for this? Some iron ingots, right? I think I need like 2 or something. 2 copper ingots, and I still need some wood. Okay. I think I have enough. Oh, let's talk to Celine. Hi, Celine. I wonder if Raina can make themed food for our next Dragons and Drama. I have ideas. Not Dragons and Drama. Any dive spots? I don't see any. Nope. Trying to get this stupid mill up and running. Those sessions are hilarious. They are really funny. I didn't buy any seeds! Stupid. We only have... Do I have a calendar in here? I don't. AG at its finest, right? Oh. It didn't go up enough tiers. There we go. Here we go. I got distracted by the treasure. Alright, I'm assuming there's a 28-day calendar. That's 9 days. That's too long. 6 days? 4 days. Should we just do a bunch of turnips? Or should I do potatoes? We can do a bunch of potatoes in 6 days, right? Potatoes and turnips. Okay. Let's do 18 and 12. That sounds good. Make that money! And I still have some straws. Next year, spring, we're just gonna have a shit ton of strawberries. Hello, Trash Panda. Oh, man. That's alright. Round trip ticket for a weekend to Labs would be basically $20,000. That sounds alright. That doesn't surprise me. Heartopia? No, what is that? I think I see ads for that on Facebook. If it's March, it might be cheaper if I set it a year out right. If we go a year from now... Trees. I can't remember how much more wood I needed. I think it was only like 20 or something. Choppy choppy. Yeah, usually international stuff like that, you want to plan like a year ahead of time to get cheaper prices. Oh no, Eepy. I better have some of this delicious lemonade. Yum. That's a tree. It's funny to build your own house in a town with random people. It's one of those cozy games. I've been playing it nonstop. It just came out on Steam a couple days ago. Oh, nice. I'll have to check it out. Bug. Butterfly. Got him. Alright, I gotta go take some stuff to the museum. Let's drop this off. Let's grab my copper ore. We'll go to the museum and then we'll circle around to the blacksmith and get our ingots for the mill. And then we just have to have like $2,000 or something. Butterfly. I think that's what it was. We had to have like 2K. It's free? Oh, is it like in-game purchases or something? Hello. Oh, I just have this mushroom? Okay. What is that? It's the last thing I need. Artifacts. Haven't really found any artifacts yet. Got a lot of fish to find. To the mines to get it then, right? I just don't know what it is. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, it takes 10? Why did I think it only took like 4? Waste of time. I didn't realize it took 10 to make an ingot. I don't have time to go to the mines. Let's just go do some fishing until it's bedtime. I really need to find a dive spot. They haven't been coming up very much. You can get a perk and make ingots for 9 instead of 10. Nice. Oh no, I missed! That's something else I gotta do. I need to go spend my... I have like 84 essence to spend. Come back, fish! Fish! There's a spot. Yes! I got some! Another rock bass. Oh no, I'm too tired. Not too tired to go for a swim though. Okay. Let's pit stop over here. Yeah! Alright. Craft time for all blacksmithing recipes will be reduced by 10 minutes. Crafting a weapon will occasionally result in a bonus sharp infusion, which grants it an additional +1 attack power. I think technically we can learn all these right now. We have all the farming. Alright, maxed out fishing. Ooh, that would have been a good one. Work on the archaeology tier too. We gotta do cooking. Ranching. I don't have any animals. I'm not really worried about that right now. Woodcrafting. I haven't done a lot of woodcrafting yet either. Oops. I gotta sell stuff. Bugs. Fish. Dandelions. Need that. So I'm collecting these for somebody and these for somebody. I'll put those there. Oh, thank you. It's so nice. Sleep. Asleep. Asleep. Coffee is so good. Not a whole lot went on today. Yep. We barely budged. Kitty. We got mail. Mushroom stew. Your recent donation of mushrooms from the mines jogged my memory. Find and close the recipe for a dish I used to make for mining crew after a long day's work. It's especially hardy in the wintertime, but delicious in all seasons. Nice. What is that mushroom? Haven't seen one of those yet. There's gonna be an ad starting in 3 minutes, guys. Just so you know. I'm gonna water, and then we're gonna go spend the day in the mines. Les, are there sprinklers in this game? Like in Stardew? Or is that not a thing? Kind of. To the mines! What is that bug? What are you? Orchard mantis. They added them when I was in my second year already, so I'm not sure when you will get access to them. I gotcha. Is it a crafting thing, or is it a thing you do in blacksmithing? Or is it at the woodcrafting? Because I haven't spent any time leveling up my woodcrafting skills. I should probably do that. Rare insects. Ooh, nice. Woodcrafting? Okay, that makes sense. To the mines! We still haven't made it to level 10. Oh no, he's so glowy. Oh, I forgot I have a new sword. Yes. I haven't tried it out yet. Ow. Heck yeah, this is awesome. Oh, this is so nice. I do have bunny ears. Les taught me how to mod my game so I could get them. Because they don't have any in-game, they just have cat ears. I'm not sure you know this, but you can use essence on the dragon statue in the mines. Yes, yes. I've actually maxed out what I can, I think, there. Possibly. I helped you as being quite generous. I mean, you pointed me in the right direction. If not for you, it would not have happened at all. Let's be real. A chest! And a sap guy. I need you to drop a sap. Woo! A miner's jumpsuit. Cute. Goodies! Yeah. A spot. Worm. Bug. Another worm. Got him. No. Do it again, I dare ya. Ha 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 ha, sucker! Oh, you dropped a stupid fang. I don't want your fang, I want your smush. I want your sappy, smushy stuff. Oh no! Still gotta find the ladder. Hey. Bug? Welcome back from ads, everybody. Aw, he's cute. He thought he was gonna get me. Yes! That was the last sap I needed. Let's go. Treasure! Yeah! Got him! I'm glad that swinging your sword doesn't take stamina. That's probably one of my favorite, like, quality of life things in this game. Hey! Oh, I just have to go one more level. I'm gonna run out of stamina. Should have brought more food. I don't think I have anything I can eat on me. Poisonous mushroom. You should be able to eat the bugs, in my opinion. You should be able to eat the bugs. In real life, you would. If you didn't have any other food and you needed to survive, you would eat a bug. She eats bugs. I've never eaten a bug in real life. Depending, if your life depended on it, you absolutely would eat a damn bug. Don't tell me you wouldn't. If you say no, you're a liar. If you were trapped in the mines with no food. How much do leeks give you? And oh, like nothing. They give you like nothing in stamina. Hey, we have lots now. I'm eating my legs and arms before a bug. That's actually insane. When I was a little kid, I ate an ant before and not a repaired one. Ah! Yeah! Thank you so much for that raid! Tink, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Thank you so much. How was stream? If you have to run off and do after stream things, totally understand. I won't be offended. Totally okay. How was your stream? What were you up to? We're getting on in some fields of Mistria. Oh, I forgot to bring the rest of the wood with me. You're playing some Jelly Bean Legacy? Let's go. I started that at one point. Oh, a fish? I got you. And I didn't get past the first generation. I'm just not a Sims game player, I guess. You had to bring the bean love? Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I appreciate you. Welcome in. For anybody who doesn't know, hi, I'm Chi. I'm a cyberpunk bunny girl auntie type. And I like to play simulation games like Stardew Valley and City Skylines. There's my wood. I think I only need 10. I'm going to keep those. And these. And these. Oh, and I need this. Who do I have to give that to? I can't remember. I'm going to sell all the bugs. I think I have all of these in the... Yeah. What is this? Monster core. I guess I'll keep that in case I need it for something. I was everywhere today. I'll be lurking and see if I can get my brain to work. Aw. That's how I am, always. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping by. So nice, so nice. Oh, you brought me another leek. Spring, I just realized spring is almost over, and I have yet to find a morel mushroom. I need 2 of them. I need 1 for a quest and 1 for the museum. How come I haven't been able to find any? Les, you tell me right now. Oh yeah, you guys, don't forget to claim. It's my birthday! Is everybody gonna bring me presents? What was he needed? The morel mushroom. I need 2 of them, and I have yet to find one at all. I was like, your tweets? Oh. Those are hard. I know, I need 2. I haven't been able to find them. She gets a wild hair and torture herself with group game and people like me. Not Les. Les is a sweetheart. I mean, me and Red. Oh. You didn't find one your first year? Are you serious? I was hoping my cat would bring me one. Strawberries! Let's go! Money, money, money. I need my watering can. And I need... $10 wood. You'll have to every part on the map hoping to find one. Oh gosh, okay. I gotcha. Tomorrow we have an early access moment. Also, I don't think I actually made an official like announcement on stream, but you guys, I'm an ambassador now for Advanced, which is a drink mix company. It's kind of like Gamer Sups, but the company is called Advanced. So if you use my code when you order stuff, I get a little commission and you get 10% off, which is kind of cool. It's pretty sick. Dang, I have a bunch of essence again already. If you go down to my About section, there's a banner you can click on that will take you to Advanced website. And you use code ChiiFett. Request for bait. Oh, I just told my worms. Okay. All right. We have all the materials. I can't remember how much the money was. 1,000. Oh. No problem. We got that. You're indispensable, Chi. Let's get this mill running again. Yeah, let's do it. Yay! We did something. Yay! Incredible. Hi, Hayden. How you doing? Woo! Wonderful work, everyone. Mistria finally has its mill back. You'll be able to make all kinds of new products now, Chi. Would you like to hear more about how to process items? Yes. Step 1. Open the milling menu by interacting with the milling station. Select what you want to craft on the left side of the menu. Ingredients and time required are on the right. Select OK to craft, so just like all the other ones. I swear I look just like Hayden IRL. Okay, I checked. It's also sugar-free. Wait, what's sugar-free? Who am I going to run? I don't know yet. I don't know who all the romanceable characters are. How do I know that? Is it the heart? If you want to try your own hand at raising animals, Chi, you'll need somewhere for them to live. Just come by the workshop. With the right materials, we can set you up with coops and barns. Nice. Thank you again, everyone. So everyone who has a heart is romanceable? Is that how it works? Oh, Advance says they're sugar-free. Yes. They're sugar-free, and the caffeine in them comes from naturally from green tea. So... thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the ChiiFett. Check the social media too. Okay, I will. So, Advanced, their caffeine products, the caffeine naturally comes from green tea, where other types of products, they use like a fake artificial caffeine. And when I drink that kind of stuff, it makes me really anxious and I don't like it. I had that problem with the, what was it? Liquid IV, their caffeine one. It made me anxious for like 2 days. So I didn't like it. So, so the ones in Advance, it comes from tea. And then they also did a partnership with, oh, she knows what tea is. I think she meant, oh, it's tea. Yeah, yeah. They also did a partnership with Kung Fu Tea brands, which we have here. Like, we have a Kung Fu Tea, like, restaurant here in the Detroit area. So I thought that was really cool, and that's kind of what made me be like, all right, I'll fall for one of these commissionable scams where I only make money if people buy things. And then they also have cute shaker cups, and they gave me a free one. I'll show you guys. I put it in the Discord. Right here. So I got a free welcome package. I just had to pay for the shipping. And it was these 2 flavor samples to try. And I got this cute cup. It's got like a snake girl on it. She's kind of cute. It was the only one with the anime girl that I could get for free. And they're also doing a partnership with Gachiakta right now, which is super cool. I wish I had money to buy it. Yeah, it's cold. It's not hot. It's cold beverages. It's you mix them. It's like a seasoning. No, it's like a mix packet, and you mix it with water. That's all right. But they have right here. This is so cool. Look it. I really want this cup. I love Gachiakta. It's such a good anime. But there's a flavor, a cup, and a mouse pad. Stop. I'm not trying to check out. You're broken. You could. Most of them are fruity, though, so I don't know if you'd want them hot. You could try it. But I'd hate for you to get it and then you not like it and be like, I wish it was summer. But I thought this was really cool. I wish I had money to buy this set. But they have some anime shakers. Free tea is best cold, yeah. I think so too. Ooh, they're sold out. This is the cup I have. Okay, I'm not trying to buy anything. That's annoying. They shouldn't have made it do that every time a page loads. I did. I tried the blue one. The other one is fruit punch. I haven't tried it yet. The blue one was I can't remember what the flavor was. If I see it, I'll remember it. Ooh, sour watermelon. I bet that's good. Strawberry shortcake, cotton candy, lemonade, lychee, peach mango, melon cream pop. That sounds so good. Magic rainbow sherbet, watermelon swirl. Right here, this one, Ramoon. This was the one I tried. It was really good. It kind of tasted like green tea. It had like a tea taste. So I tried that one, and then they also sent me fruit punch, which I haven't tried yet. But yeah, it's like one scoop is enough for, yeah, Ramoon. Summer can't come fast enough. Yeah, they're a little expensive, but you get 10% off with my code. Right here, original Ramoon. This was the first one I tried. It was really good. I liked it. And it didn't make me all weird and jittery like some caffeine drinks do. Like, usually I can only drink coffee or tea. Otherwise, it, like, fucks with my anxiety. Every once in a while, I can drink a Monster, but I try not to do that very much. But I really liked that the caffeine naturally comes from tea. That was one of the things I really liked about the company. Look at that guy. That bug. Alright, I need to find a dive spot. What is that? Oh, is that my cat? That looks like my cat. Is she swimming? What is she doing? I drink the GG Blowhole Blast, but it's a caffeine-free one. Yeah, that's what I usually... I love the Gamer Sups. She's not an event, she is. I actually really like Gamer Sups because I like the Waifu Cups. And I do like that they have their flavors in regular and caffeine-free, and you still get all the vitamins and stuff that's in it. So Advance is very similar. I never tried the caffeine ones of Gamer Sups because I was worried it would make me feel weird, but I never tried it, so. You have like 4 of them? Yeah, Red has a bunch of them too. Red has a very extensive Gamer Sups Waifu Cup collection. Don't you, Red? I know you hear me. I have 2. I have so many, so goddamn many. Sorry, fish. I'm looking for dive spots. Nothing. Oh, I also need a fish for that one. Oh yeah, I gotta figure out who that sap goes to. I forgot. What the heck? Snakehead. Let's see. I need a worm. Oh, I need a fennel. Noodles is not going to happen for a while. The sap request is for Landon. Blueberries. Can I break this rock yet? Whoa, I did it! Ooh, a sapphire. Nice. What's over here? Nothing. There's nothing in here. Oh, there's a well. A mysterious looking well. Throw in some coins. Dang, an emerald! It's only worth 60 gold though, and I threw in 100! I have a glow-in-the-dark buff pup, Shy Lily Kill Bill one. I wanted that Shy Lily Kill Bill one so bad! And 2 randos, generic robo lady, so 5. I was off by 1. Oh, I gotcha. A good one? Oh, I got 2 emeralds. Oh, okay, that made it a little more worth it. Can only do that once a day, huh? Alright. Firefly. Hawk moth. Alright. Where can we find a leek? Or not a leek. A, right there! There's one! Fennel! That's the word I was trying to think of. Leeks! Hello, Muda. I think I already swam around in here, didn't I? Yeah. My cat's still over there. Redless is literally all the chicken. Probably. He said he would trade me. I actually forgot about that. You remember that, Red? We were gonna trade on a cup. How are you today, Muda? Welcome in. Kitty. Why can't I get it? Can't leave. 6 months? That's quarter of 2 years. You're right. That's crazy, yo. I can break this rock now, too? Hell yeah. Cherries! Yes! What is this? The stairs to the deep woods are covered in giant impassable vines. Oh. Lame. What is this thing? Clear water fills the fountain. Drink some? Okay. Yo! It gave me some stamina. That's cool. I think it was my metal Shy Lily for your broken or something like that. Yes. But it has a second version of that cup now. Oh. Try out the fruit punch and let me know. I will either get that, the other one you tried, or cotton candy. Okay. That's for later, but it is really cool. Wait. Oh, this right here? Yeah, yeah. Mr. Fruit's fruit punch. The deep forest. Okay. All right, let's go figure out who I owe shit to. I gotta give the sap to Landon. So let's go find Landon. Where's he at? He's here. Makes me nervous that you aren't getting the berries. Oh, I have so many at my house. I have so many! I'm a hoarder, I get everything. Oh, I gotcha. That's fair. Oh no, that's Hemlock. Who's Landon? I thought Landon was grape juice. I can't pick it up. No! I have to come back. Nobody steal my grape juice. It's mine. Oh wait, Landon is this guy? No, that's one of the kids. Landon. Is this Landon? I still don't know all the characters that well. Rise Grandpa. Okay. So yes. Or his uncle? Is his grandpa or his uncle? It's just frustrating. I walked right by his house and he was there the whole time. Yeah, there we go. Now this is the stuff. That's quality sap, Chi. Thank you. Funny, now that I'm retired, I keep having great ideas for new woodworking projects. Nice. Thank you. Gotta restart? Okay. On my next break, I'll go mix up that fruit punch one and try it and tell you guys if it's good. Alright, and then I had... Fennel is for Celine. Where's Celine at? Celine is... at her house. Okay. And I'm gonna get... Oh, dive spot! Yes! I need that for another quest! Let's go! Dude, I'm completing all the requests today. At her house. Celine, I'm barging in at midnight. I'm so sorry. I hope you don't mind. Oh, cheese. Is this the fennel I requested? Thank you so much. Here's my recipe for spring salad. It really highlights the flavors of the season. Nice. Thank you. Except I can't pick it up right now. What can I throw away? Throw away this acorn. There's a pretty girl in this game. That's the only reason I like the game. Which one? Which girl do you think is pretty? Is it me? Alright, and then who was the pearl for? I think, no, that's the mushroom. Maple, it was for Maple. Juniper? There's no Juniper. Who's Juniper? Oh, wait, the bathhouse girl. That's the bathhouse girl. Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about now. I gotta take one of those cherries to the... Oh, can I make it to the... I'm gonna sell these bugs. This fish. Alright, we did it. Okay, back. Welcome back. I'm actually gonna take a quick break, I think, because I need to go switch my laundry. And I'm gonna go mix up the fruit punch flavor so I can tell you guys how it tastes. Because I'm ready to switch from coffee to something else to drink. So let me go to those two things. I'm gonna run ads. And I'll be right back. You guys hang out. Be nice. Be good. Play the drop game. I was going to play drop with an emote of your choice to play the drop game. I'll be right back. Heyo. I have returned. Yum. All right, so this is the fruit punch flavor. Ooh, it's pretty good. It tastes really sweet for being sugar-free. I like it. Tastes like Kool-Aid. Except it's good for you. Full of energy. I also got some chips. Because I wanted a snacky. Mmm. What is that? Nobody gave me anything for my birthday. Is it because I didn't actually, like, talk to anybody? I like picking up my cat. It's fun. So yeah, it is 28 days. Nobody did anything for me for my birthday. That's mean. They just expect me to always have a gift for them. Jerks. If you got time, come on over to my place. I'll put the kettle on and we can talk ranching and raising animals. Hayden invited me over. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. I can't believe it. Oh my god, ooh, Hayden, right? We're stupid. Tee Hayden. Didn't hear me pop back in? I'm back! The fruit punch one's really good, Wambat. He's your hubby, I understand. He's the hottest. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. It's sweet even though there's no sugar. It tastes like Kool-Aid. Yes. Yes, I can. Um... There you go. Boom! That's actually really smart. I should do that every stream. Just put it up there. Oh no, I spelled it wrong. Oh well. It's fine. There's a certain someone that comes close to his hotness. Who is it? Is it me? I said O instead of on. It says O advanced instead of on advanced. Apparently I was thinking O instead of on when I typed it. You can't marry yourself in this game? Damn it. But Les, I'm the cutest. Alright, we gotta go find... What's her name? The little girl. Right here. They're at the museum. Oh, I need to go there too. Indeed, but I don't make the game mechanics. We gotta talk with the devs to fix that ASAP, right? Okay, but who is it? Tell me! Les, tell me. Who's the other hottie? I must know. It's a spoiler? Wait, is it a character I don't know yet? Yay, thanks, Chi. Now let's see what's hiding in this freshwater oyster. There's no pearl in here. My mom told me I couldn't waste it, so now I gotta eat it. That's kind of a spoiler too? Okay. This is an inauspicious day in the court of Queen Maple. Oh, that's a big word for you. You're a child. Hear ye, hear ye. On this morning, you are in the presence of Queen Maple. That's me. Okay. I asked Mom to pack me extra food this morning. Then Dragon Guard needs adventuring rations. Okay. I help, but not spoil. That's fair. I like that. Oh, thanks for the blankies. I needed that. Mmm. What a cute outfit. Soy sauce. Ooh, we can make something tasty with this. Farmer's overalls. There's pink ones. Cute. It'll be snowing in the States, you guys say. It is. It's been snowing here all day. You're almost out of your bullhole blast? Nice. Good timing then. Good timing. Thanks for buying that, Wambat. That's really cool of you. I hope you like it. You have to let me know how you feel about it. Ba Your mom's not done with my full blast, though. What the fuck? Damn, Chaz on Hinge. I misspelled in my insult. That's alright, I know what you said. How severe ADHD person handles that caffeine? Yeah. Have you read? I have rice and oil and soy sauce. What can I make? Surely there's food I can make taking the mines with me. Let's go look at the kitchen and see what we can make with that stuff. Hayden, I'm coming to your house. I have to cook first. Oh, I went to the wrong place. I went right past it. I got distracted by Hayden and walked right past the inn. My grape juice! Forgot about that. Alright, let's see. Can make those. Level 4. Oh, I can make baked potatoes now? I didn't realize I was level 4 cooking. Now I'm level 6. Excellent. Fish and oil. Candy. Don't have any sugar. So I don't have any recipes I can make with soy sauce yet, apparently. Oh, don't eat it. How much does this give me? 30 is not bad, I guess. 18 from grape juice. We never have enough food in the mine, which is why I can't get to level 10. So I'm trying to make sure I have enough food stuff. Ooh, no, I want recipes. Deluxe curry? Level 24? Oh. Level 14. Level 14. Level 8. I can't cook none of this stuff. Let's go check the general store. And then we'll check Baron's cart too. Baron? Is that his name? No recipes. What is this? Stone lamp. Oh, it's a light. That's cute. Art supplies. Clay. Oh, alright. I think I have one of those in my chest at home. Crafting scroll, crafting scroll, crafting scroll. A maid skirt. Work boots. I wonder when his cart stuff changes, because he's had the same stuff. Oh, I could buy a bone fragment. I'm gonna buy 2. Because now I can take one to the museum and the other 2 to what's-her-face. What's her name's brother? Eland. Where's he at? Oh, thank you. Now I'm cute. There he is. Wait, Eland! Oh, excellent. The shards I asked for. This will be useful in my research. Thank you, Chi. Here's your reward. Yeah, reward. I like stuff. Berries. There's a cool fishing spot. I can't reach it. I can't reach it. I'm sad. My fishing pole's not big enough. I need a better fishing pole. Oh, that fish is wigging out. A salmon. Come here, fishy. No. Dang it. What was the kind of fish I needed? A gobby. Is that an ocean one? It might be an ocean one. That guy! That's a turtle! I caught a turtle! What the heck? Can he be my pet? Whoops, I fucked up. I got too excited. Oh, that guy. Can't catch him. He's too fast. Too speedy. River? Oh. You're probably right. I caught a frog! Can I make him into frog legs and eat him? No! I was getting a drink. I was thirsty. Whoa, there's a big fish. A pike. Not that big guy. A paddlefish, a rare giant river fish found in spring. Sick. Dang it. Come here, fishy. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Yeah. Dang it. Guess I'm technically not in the river right now. Another pike. Just take it. Smallmouth bass. Nope. Oh well. We tried. Don't eat that one. Don't eat that one. Frog. They're good for monies. They are good for monies. Except for you. You're going to the museum, sir. Oh, thank you. Pretty flower. What a good kitty. Yep, we got 285 bucks just from fishing. That's not bad. $25. The days are closing in. Good. I love my kitty. I know. I wanted to let you know that I now have copper fishing rods in stock. Stop by anytime if you want to upgrade. I really want to upgrade. Let's go, money! We'll keep a couple. I think I already have some, but just in cases. Where should we put this light? Maybe I'll put it over here. At some point, Chi, I would like to try that group share thing on Vtuber Studio. I've actually never done it. I don't think I have the extension for that. You have to pay for an extra thing to do for the extension or whatever it is. I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked at it into it in a while. The multi-collab? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to pay for that. It's like an extra thing you have to buy. I could be wrong. I thought the last time I checked, though, you can buy it in Steam. Pretty sure. Yeah, but I think if the host has it, you can do it still. Oh, really? 20 wing wings? I know, isn't that crazy? It is kind of a lot. Alright, let's go have our tea with Hayden. I almost forgot. Is he here? Oh, yeah. Hayden's house is cute. Yeah, the winter sale half price. Nice. Thanks for stopping by. Come on in. Put your feet up. So you're looking to raise some animals? I've got quite the selection to choose from. If you feed them, pet them, and call them outside on nice days, they'll reward you with all sorts of wonderful produce. Henrietta, I know that she's just like chilling in the chair. Fresh eggs and milk are real useful if you like cooking. You can also sell them for a nice profit. Some animals even provide useful crafting materials, such as feathers and wool. Mistria also holds an annual animal festival with great prizes, although you might find the competition a little stiff against my Henrietta. You'll have to have it? Okay. If you go on to breed your animals with heart-shaped treats, you can even pair them to produce rare colors. Oh yeah, I haven't figured out how to do treats yet. Because I want to give my cat treats. I don't know how to give her treats. Here's some milk feed to get you started. But don't forget, you can also let them graze or even hand feed them as a treat. Nice. Would you like to view the ranching tutorial? Sure, why not? You can probably be able to talk me into gifting to you next month. That's okay. I'm fine with just using the Discord stuff right now. Like, it is really cool. But, I'm not like in a hurry to do that. You know what I mean? You can make them in the middle. Oh, okay. Baby animals can be purchased from Hayden's farm once you've built a barn or coop for them to live in. Adult animals will drop produce and can even be bred to unlock new colors at 2 hearts. Make sure to feed and pet your animals once every day to keep them happy. Animals can be fed various ways: indoor, troughs, grazing outside, and even hand feeding are options. Oh, look at him. He's so cute. Yum, nom, 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 nom. Look over and change outfits. Oh, this is my Blanky redeem. Which is supposed to only last for 10 minutes. I'm opening everything except the thing I need to open. Aha. I forgot to set the time. There we go. I think I did it for the pigtails though, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Now it's right. Yeah, the channel point redeems is a bunch of stuff you can do to my model. It's pretty fun. Oh, that's the wrong thing I'm trying to open. I want to open this. There we go. Well, it's cute either way. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a blankie, so put the little blankie on me because I get cold. The animals are so cute in this game and all the colors. Ooh, I'm lurking while playing Overwatch. Nice. It's more my curiosity than anything. That why I said you could probably talk me into it. I gotcha. They are really cute. Animals like to be called outside on sunny days, but avoid bringing them out in bad weather. Okay. I think that's about everything for now. Don't be a stranger, Chi. I can tell Henrietta appreciates your company, and so do I. Oh, thank you, Hayden. That's so nice. Aw, shucks. We got tea. Let's go. I want to pet the aminals. Aww. And the cow. Me. And the horse. Me. Alright, I'm still gonna go to the mine. We go into the mines. Mine it up. I'm gonna stick this fish in the museum real quick. So it's not taking up inventory space. Let's go. To the mines! Oh, I have this hay and crap though. Oh well. You can stick it down here out of the way. Alright, our goal is to try to get to level 10. Also, we still haven't found the miner's pickaxe down here. I don't know how I find that. Maybe we need to break more barrels and stuff. I don't do that enough. Sucker! Thank you. Oh. Oh, I also need to find worms. I need a worm for that one thing. Oh no, stay away! Got him! Oh, there's the ladder. Got him! Sugar! Yeah, I don't do enough fishing in here either. Aw. A cave shrimp! I want to eat him. Nom 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 nom. Ah! Get wrecked, sucker! Worm! I need you. Yay, ladder. Ow! That wasn't nice, sir. Alright. Oh my gosh, there's so many of these guys. Ah! Combo! I combo strike them. Oh no, my inventory is already full. Oh, poop. What do I throw away? I'll just eat something. Let's have the tea. Hell yeah. Nice. Nice. Man, that's a handy skill. There's a spot there I missed. Copper. Oh, I can't jump over there. Wait. Can't jump over there. Wait, I can jump over this one. How do I get over there? I can't get over there! What the heck? What's going on? Jump on a diagonal? Oh! Ah! Got electrocuted! Oops! Thanks, Les. Ow! Ow! There we go. Oh no, I don't have any space for rubies. I'll just drink this. It's not very much anyway. Ah! No! Ow! Where are you? No. I walked into that one. I shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna throw out this sap for now. Gotta make hard decisions. We're running out of time. We only need to go one more level again. Museum takes priority? Yeah. That's why I'm not bothering with that glass, because I don't need it. Alright, where is the ladder? There it is. Alright, let me just make sure I got all the copper. More glass. There's another dig spot. Yeah, copper. Alright, level 10! We finally made it! A faint whisper breaks the silence. Hero. Help! Oh, is that me? Am I hero? Okay. That's nice. It's getting rather late. Sure is. Just kind of want to see what's going on over here. Copper. Alright. Alright, we go. You've been chosen, Chi. Oh my god, I'm chosen. That's crazy. I have 100 essence. That's also crazy. We're not gonna make it home. We're gonna pass out. We're not gonna make it. Ah! I'm running! I'm running! I'm running as fast as I can! Run, 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 run. I made it! Let's go! Thanks for the flower. Gotta sleep. Today I'm sprint back home, right? Oh! It's called Darius. I've got that timed. Nice. You have been hard at work around Mistria, Chi. The magic returning to me through your efforts has begun to clear my mind. Have you been watching me? No, it's an honor. I am grateful. I have now recalled a particular spell suitable for human use, as well as the means by which to bestow it to you. I will now grant you the full restore spell. You will be able to access it from your journal. As its name suggests, casting it will fully restore your health and stamina. Ooh! Your mana will restore bit by bit each night after a spell has been cast. Use it wisely. Full restore? Really? Couldn't you have given it a cooler name? Thank you for entrusting me with the spell, Great Calderis. You are most welcome. Practice your magic and continue to hone your abilities. We will speak again soon. Mwahahaha. He's the only one I do a voice for. Various magic spells will unlock throughout the course of the game. To use an unlocked spell, select and pin it from the magic page in your journal. Ooh. Press and hold the button prompt indicated on the pinned spells icon to cast it. Different spells require different amounts of mana. Mana restores a little bit each day. If you're lucky, you might even come across a potion that restores some mana instantly. Nice. Throughout the game, that increase your maximum capacity. All right. Sweet. Magic. Ka-dong. Friday night at the inn. Meow. All right. Nothing else to go in there right now. Oh, this tulip can go in there right now. There's cherries on my cherry tree. They bloomed just in time. Sweet root. That's what that was. That can go in here. All right. Friday night at the inn. Let's go. Basic feed for small animals. We gotta go check out the, we gotta take this to the museum. And this. And this is for someone. We gotta go check out the mill. Also. And I'm gonna go buy a fishing pole. More straws. And cherries. Next project! Now that Mistria has its basic necessities met, I'd like to pivot our focus to a real morale booster for the town. Would you meet Eland and me in front of the manor house? Sure. Later. I have other things I need to do, Adeline. You're not the boss of me. Okay, I need my watering can. Gotta water these here. These probably won't produce strawberries again before the month's over. I think last week I forgot about Friday night at the end. I didn't even go. I'm just naughty like that, I guess. All right, let's put this back. And let's go to the museum. And I want to talk to the statue outside of the mines, too. Look at all these bugs. Ant. Excuse me, I mean, it wasn't on purpose. I just was distracted doing other things in the game that I forgot about going. So it wasn't really on purpose. I just forgot. In the morning, I was like, ooh, Friday night at the inn. And then I was like, and then it was bedtime. You know? You know how it goes. You get distracted by other stuff in the game. We unlocked a reward. Let's go. What is that? I don't know what that is. Fish. Nice. What did we get? We got some boots. Farmer's boots. A latte. A frothy steamed blend of milk and coffee. Let's go. Sounds good. And then what was I gonna do? Oh, I was gonna go talk to the statue. And then I want to go buy a fishing pole. I have lots of money. Oops. Alright, let's see where we are. Yeah, we're just gonna learn everything. We're just gonna max it out. Excellent. We're maxed out until we hit level 15, I think it is, right? Yeah, level 15 is when the next tier opens. Let's go. Do you ever get to, like, fix these stairs? Is that ever a thing? I'm a Scrooge, so I made my own tools. I have the money, so might as well, right? I'm assuming it's gonna be a quest later where you go around fixing all the stairs that are busted. Alright. We need to go back this way. Right? You fix them, yeah, you gotta wait for the mission. Okay. Oh, I'm way far away still. There's a dive spot. Woohoo! Oyster. Oh, I gotta go down one more. Quest is the right word. Yeah, I know what you meant. I knew what you meant, silly goose. Bug. Bug. Chicken statue. A tee-hee! A tee-hee-hee! Scallop shell. Sand dollar. I don't have a lot of ocean. I haven't done a lot of ocean fishing yet. Let me go get my new fishing rod first so it reaches further. What is this? Door appears to be locked. I want to go in the lighthouse. Wait, where's her house at? Oh, it's over here. No, where is it? There it is. Copper fishing rod. Yeah, it's only 1,000. We'll take it. Then we'll sell our old one. Oh, I also need to find her and give her this worm. What are you? Are you a bug? Sand bug. Nice. All right. Do some real fishing now. Yeah. Oh. He turned around, that jerk. Oh, a lobster. Another lobster. Fishes are rude in this game, those jerks. What's that? Oh, it's just decoration. Just part of the texture, I guess. Well, it sure is a heckin' lot of lobsters out here. Oh. Let's go for a swim. Is there an island out here somewhere? There's that one. Can I get on the rock and fish? Aw, sad. Dive spot. Ooh, what is that? Oh, it's just a clam, I think. Pearl clam. Common ocean mollusk. There's little islands you can fish from. I thought so. Can I get up here? Can't get up there. There's a thing here. It's a mystery? Oh my gosh, you're garbage. Unidentified artifact? A new artifact you do not recognize. Use it to identify what it is. A dinosaur skeleton? Oh my god, I found a whole dinosaur, you guys. Alright, we're going to the museum. I have a bunch of shit to give them. Heck yeah! It's a new one? Oh, nice. To the museum! Guys, I found a whole dinosaur! Look at it! Meow. 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 Yeah, ocean fish. And you're carrying it. I know, I'm the strongest ever. Yeah. Look at him. There he is. Fish. I still have a couple of river fish I need to catch before spring ends. Is this considered river or is this a pond? I know not if. Dang. Isn't there also a river on my farm? Get it? Trout. Ah, sucker. Oh. I'll throw away the sand dollar. Bass. Another bass. Well, I don't know what fish I'm missing. Maybe I need to try fishing in the morning. I haven't done that. Alright, I still have 60 essence. So I want to spend them real quick. Humans once offered their prayers from both above and below the ground. However, that was long ago, and human lifespans are short. See, my crafting is only level 3 because I haven't been doing much. Alright, farming is maxed. Fishing is maxed. Archaeology has nothing. We maxed out blacksmithing. Let's do cooking. Cooking a dish will occasionally return one of its ingredients afterward. Yes. The cook time for all cooking recipes will be reduced by 10 minutes. I don't really worry about that. Cooking a dish will occasionally result in a bonus restorative infusion, which grants an HP and stamina regen buff when consumed. Yes. Cooking recipes will sometimes drop from treasure chests in the mines. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm gonna sell this. Sell the bugs. I'm gonna sell this clam. I'm gonna sell one of these bass. I think I'm gonna keep one. I'm gonna sell these fish. 'Cause I can. Oh, I'm gonna sell my old fishing pole too, because I don't need it. Goodbye. Oh, thanks, kitty. That was so nice. All right. Wait, that was my old one, right? Yeah, that's the copper one. Okay. We good. See, I forgot about Friday night at the end again. Damn it. I keep missing it. Ooh, $1,000 today. Nice. Yay. Potion. We're town rank copper. Let's go. That's cool. I forgot to. See? It's not just me. More stamina. Meow. Baked sweet root recipe. I'm glad to see you've come across sweet root in the mines. An excellent find. Here's a simple recipe for baked sweet root. Passed on to me when I was just a greenhorn. You'll find it keeps your energy up. Nice. Congratulations! Mistria has reached the Copper Star Town rank. This means we have officially earned back our pre-earthquake rank. Let's go! And it only took me 1 month. I believe I speak for the whole town when I say thank you, Chi. Eland and I baked you a little something to celebrate. A strawberry shortcake! Cute! I have all kinds of food for the mines. Alright, let me learn this. Baked sweet root. A baked potato and a sweet root. Nice. Are these ready yet? Yeah. All right, potatoes. Whoops. I want to keep some and turn them into baked potatoes. I'll keep 5. We'll sell the rest. And I guess I'll water my straws, even though they're not going to produce anything anymore. I don't know if they'll get one more day tomorrow out of them, so I'm going to water them just in case. What's that butterfly? That doesn't look familiar. Oh, it is. Okay. Bug. All right. Let me put away my regular potatoes because I'm not going to bother with baking them today. I love picking up my kitty. I love that I can pick up my kitty. All right, let's go to town. Dive spot. Ooh, a crayfish. That's cool. Crawfish are yummy. Snail. What was I doing? It's coming over here. Dang, look at all my rewards. Yay! Stone table. Oh, it's a table. That's what this is. All right. Quest for a copper ingot. To Balor. You got it, dude. All right. I need to find... What's her name? Tabitha or something? Terithia. I have to give her this worm. Wait, why does it say I don't have a worm? Oh no, did I sell my worm? Oh no! What'd I do with my worm? Did I sell it? I must have sold it by accident. Damn it. Fuck! I needed that! I don't know what to do with this table. I'm gonna set it next to my mailbox. There you go. Have a table. Let's see, I didn't put it in here. I didn't put it in here. Dang it. Oh, yeah, it is a normal worm. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, because I don't feel like going in the mines again right now. That's not a worm. What are you? A redhead worm. Also, Les, how often does Balor's cart change? Like what he carries? Is it like every season it changes? Because he's had like all the same stuff the whole time. For me. You have no idea? I thought you might know. You never buy anything from him? Well, I still have this quest to get noodles for somebody. And I can't make them. And nobody ever has them to buy. So... Rice noodles? No, it's just noodles. You can buy at the inn? Oh. It's not there. Lola is going crazy right now. But the inn recipes change. How often do they change, do you know? You've been hit with the RNGesus. Somebody's walking by with their dog, must be, because Lola's going crazy right now. She going crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear her barking. Hi, Mac. How are you? There's another bug. It's not a worm. It's pill bug. Roly-poly. I am, as they say, being zealing. What? What? Who says that? Oh, being chilling? Can't find a worm. I give up. I give up for now. See, if I learn Chinese before AI replaces me, I can go and get one of those white guy jobs in China. There you go. And neither of these go to the museum. Okay, I'm selling them. Oh, I don't want to put them in there. I want to sell them. It says that Beller's cart changed daily. It does not. That's a lie. They're lying. It's the same, I feel like. Every time I go there, it's the same stuff. Although I don't go every day, so... Oh, it did change. It has feathers now. Okay, maybe it does change every day. Craft fabric rack. Oh, so it changes, but it has a lot of the same stuff that it rotates through. I think is what it is. Scone. Mushroom brew. Lemon cake. Spring galette. I don't know how to say that word. I know what it is, but I don't know how to say it. Canned sardines. Cattail fluff. Wait, I didn't know I could cut down the cattails. Wait a second. Bro got 5 shells. 4 are empty. Oh no. Oh no! Let's see if they have the... Sweet sesame balls, apple pie, rice ball, sweet potato pie, potato soup. Okay, these have slightly changed. No noodles. Inflation, I tell ya. It's the inflation, right? I guess I just gotta be better about checking every day. I'm gonna learn how to make rice balls, though. You gotta buy them all eventually, right? Seaweed. I need to get my cooking skill up. My crafting skill I need to get up too. Oh. Yeah. Hot fluffy baked potatoes. Grants bonus HP and stamina restoration for 2 hours. Nice. Save that for the next time we go to the mines. Oh yeah, I wanted to check out the mill. Is this the cat treats? Oh, that's what I need fish for. Need more bass. Miscellaneous? New grass on your farm useful for grazing animals. Pine tree sapling. This tree can be planted any time of year. That's what I can use all the pine cones and acorns for. Okay. Have a big question for me? Okay, go. I might have an answer. Paper milled with plant fiber used in a variety of crafting recipes. This is Stardew? So... you use the acorn for better animal food too? Nice. I might as well turn all this into paper. Why not? This or Stardew? I'm really liking this. I think I like both of them for different reasons. Does that make sense? Hard hitters today, it really is. I like that, now we can give our kitty a treat. I like that, wait, isn't it Saturday Market? I forgot about Saturday Market. Dang. Yeah, you guys got noodles? Grape juice, hot chocolate, tea, mocha, coffee, pie, latte, ice cream, spicy cheddar biscuit. That sounds good. Tea, pomegranate, rice tea, lemonade, chocolate cake. Okay. Only desserts? Oh. Star hair clips. I can't believe I forgot about Saturday Market. That's crazy. I don't think there's really anything I want, though. Dressy stocking. Rainbow striped bucket hat. There's just not anything I really want right now. Furniture. A pet bed for my cat? Will she sleep in it? I need this for my kitty. Fundamentally, they're both different. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. So, I like how some of the tasks in this game are a little easier than in Stardew. Like, for example, fishing. I can make some curtains. I don't really need anything. I just want to... I want to be able to make chests. And I can't because I'm only level 3. And you have to be level 4. I'm so close. So I'm just making stuff so that I can get my level up. I always install the cheat for vision. I do too. Oh, so close. I gotta craft something else. I wish I could craft a fire pit. Calendar. Ooh, hay bale. So just a decoration? Let's do... Oh, I can only do one? Okay. I learned it existed here and never took it off again, right? Yay! Now I can make chests. Right? Oh, I can't. Probably because it's late. Alright, well at least I got my level up. Is it your favorite game? Let's go. How are you, Crystal? We're almost done with spring. Tomorrow's the last day of spring. I've spent a lot of time in mine. I love Eric Barone, but I hate the fishing minigame. Oh, yeah, I hate the fishing minigame too. Let's see, do I have anything I can sell right now? I don't think so. Yeah, we've gotten pretty far. I've been playing for about a week or so. Oh, I wanna give my cat her bed. Put it right here. Sleep. Aw, sleep. Ooh, I made $1,000. Look at all those potatoes. Last day of spring. Oh, look at her in her bed. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to pick you up. I wanted to pet you. I pushed the wrong button. Wait, I want to give you a treat. Can I give you a treat? Yay! What's this? Shiny bead. A shiny bead gifted to you by an animal as thanks for your kindness. Surely these treasured beads have some mysterious purpose. I know what it is! Yeah, so you can also give them tasks to do. So if I go here, and I go to Wookiee, I can put cosmetics on my animal? I didn't know that. You can change their appearance, and then you can give them a task to do. So they'll collect things. So I have her collecting forageables for me. I was hoping she'd bring me a mushroom that I'm looking for. But that's not happening. I want these boots. Yeah. It's super cute. Yeah, so it actually like gives your pets a purpose. Look, I am farmer. Look, I am jumpsuit. Brah. Yes, you can get a doggo and then bring you sticks. Dang, this is actually like a bee shirt, but I like that it kind of looks cyberpunky. Their skirt? Maybe purple skirt? No. Yellow skirt. They look like a bee. I don't want to look like a bee. Yeah, this game's great. It has some quality of life stuff in it that Stardew doesn't have. There's an ad. Alright, hay bale. I'm just gonna stick this... Oh, apparently I can't because there's shit in the way. Oh, I think I'm in the way. I'm gonna put it here. Look, I can jump over it. Aw, no straws. Sad. Alright. Let's go to the mines. Oh, I can take this copper ingot to somebody. Somebody needed one. And I have to find... And my nightmare, no straws. Alright. It's the last day of spring, so they won't produce anymore. To the mines! We yearn for the mines. I know. I don't think I'm gonna get it this year. I've never found one. Okay, this is what I think the beads are for. It's for this chicken. Seriously looking chicken statue. Throw in some shiny beads. Oh, I have to have 10? That's not cool. Dang it. That's annoying. Boo. But I was right. That's what they were for. That's what I thought they were for. Well, poop. Oh. Ah, can't get me, sucker. Yeah, you better run. No, don't electrocute me! No! Help! I'm sorry, I didn't mean it! Just kidding, I totally meant it! Look at this guy, he's a cool dude. Les, did you ever find the miner's pickaxe? That's something else I haven't come across in the mines yet. Oh, I missed. Ow, he got me. Ow, he got me. Ow, I hate you. They're bullying me. Get wrecked. Bitch. Now I'm owie. Getting up on a girl, shaming them. I know, those jerks. There's a ladder. Gotta get this copper though. Dig spot. I got another identified artifact. I got the miner's helmet. Wait, is that what it is? It's an artifact like that? Oh. Wait, I can't. Interesting. So I need to pay more attention to dig spots like that. Yeah! Hello! Welcome in! Bex! How's it going? Hello, hello! Thank you so much for the raid! How you doing? What were you up to? How was Strem? Also, if you need to raid and run, that's totally okay. No offense will be taken. Totally understand. Sometimes we just got shit to do, you know? This is a basic raid. Let's go. Hello, everyone. My name is Chi. I play simulation games like Stardew, Fields of Mistria, and City Skylines. Ooh, that was fast. Dig spot. Let's go. I'm getting so lucky today. Except for this stupid mushroom. Get wrecked, sucker. Good. Playing more E33 and I'm kicking boss butt. Oh, how do you like that game? I need to play it. I have access to that game through my boyfriend's Steam account, but I haven't played it yet. He's been dying for me to play it. An uncommon artifact, likely lost during a hunt. Ooh, cool. That's not what I want though. I need the miner's axe. Alright. Need this copper. You cried once so far? Oh my gosh, I know. I heard the story is a real tearjerker. I heard it's really good. I just need to, like, play it, you know? So good, I bawled during the whole thing. Ow! I got hurt! Help! I need an adult! Get wrecked, bitches! Man, I'm so good at this game. Look at me go. Oh no, my inventory is getting full up. I don't need no stinking glass. At least not right now. I mostly just want copper. Have you heard about the Stardew voiceover by that account? I have heard about that actually. I saw a post about it. I think it was either on Twitter or on TikTok. I saw something about it. But I haven't played Stardew in a while. It's been a minute. Wait, this is the one I have to jump diagonal. Yeah. The last time I did like a really solid time of playing Stardew was when 1.6 came out. And I've been hearing rumors about 1.7 being a thing soon. A friend of mine voices in it. Oh, that's so cool! Epic. Love that. Which character do they play, do you know? Sebastian, let's go. Good character to be. Oh god! Oh god! He's gonna come get me! No, go away! I'm just a little bun girl. Take this! And this! Ah, get wrecked, sucker. Got him! Man, I'm getting good at that. My brother knows famous people. Let's go! I wish my brother knew famous people. Wait, I don't have a brother. Amazing. I need to find a ladder. If I find the ladder, we unlock another elevator spot. Let's go. Don't worry, Chi, I'll be your brother. Okay. I'll heavily inform him he's famous. Do it. Be like, hey, did you know? Ah! Ouch! Ow! That's not fair. I don't have any armor. Alright, we unlocked this. We can go home now. I know one famous person. Me too! Well, I don't know if they're technically famous. I know somebody who knows a lot of famous people. Actually, I know two people who know some pretty well-known people. It's Pitbull? Stop. How do you know Pitbull? You know Mr. Worldwide? That's actually crazy. I actually don't have a lot of stuff to sell, surprisingly. I got a bunch of stuff I need to take to everyone else. I know Mr. Worldwide, yeah. Nice. Ran into him in Miami at a restaurant. He was pretty nice. Yeah, I feel like he would be pretty chill. Mr. Worldwide. It's summer! I have a YouTuber with 1 million subs on my friends list. On battle.net? Nice. I mean, I mod for Mystic Cat. She has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Yeah. No, don't go to sleep. We just got here. That's famous enough. Aw, that's so cute. Bex is famous, confirmed. Straw hopper. We're gonna get all the summer animals now. Oh, look at my strawberry bushes. They're sad. How do I get rid of these? Can I just chop them down? Oh yeah, okay. Why are there trees growing in my field? I don't have anything to cut them with. I need my axe. That should probably be one of the next things that I upgrade as well, is my axe. No stinking trees in my field. I also don't have a shovel still. I should probably buy a shovel. Sad berry bushes, I know. I know Red Hoodie, they famous. Oh, so true. So true. Red Hoodie do be famous. All right, what are we growing in summer? Huh? Red, you didn't know you're famous, bro? Chili peppers. Chili pepper seed, the summer crop can be harvested once. Now, wait a minute. In Stardew Valley, this is a reoccurring plant. You famous now, bitch. You don't know the red hoodie? No, it's you. We're talking about you. Cucumbers. Watermelons. Tomatoes. Oh, tomatoes are going to be the regrowable. And corn. Okay. Let's do... I have quite a bit of money. These are 300 a piece. That's crazy. Holy shit, guys. Woo! That is all my money. We're growing everything. Hey, there's a quest over here. Let's take it. Seeking gossip? Talk to Ballard, Juniper, and Dell to collect gossip. Afterwards, tell Elsie what you learned. Okay. A pond skater? Is that thing that flies around? Oh, no. I've never caught one yet. They jump around too much. I have way too much stuff in my inventory right now, so let's do that. Let's get rid of half of this food. Can go in here. And then we're gonna plant all this stuff. I need my watering can, which I will replace my fishing pole. There we go. All right. Now to reorganize my inventory. There we go. All right, let's put the tomatoes here. And I'll put the corn here. All right, and then we got some watermelons. And we got some cucumbers. And we got some peppers. Which... Where do I want to put them? I guess I'll just put them here. They'll be fine for now. We'll worry about being more organized with our farm someday. Someday we will be more organized. How to reorganize my inventory. Me every 5 seconds in Minecraft. Word. At least in Minecraft, you don't have to water your crops manually. Wait, I forgot I can do this. I totally forgot I could do that. Silly me. Alright, I'm gonna take my fishing pole. And I'm gonna go to the museum. And then we should probably focus on quests and stuff because I need money and we don't have any crops to sell. Also, we should probably go... What are you? I forgot. I got new stuff to pick up. Anything down here? What's this? Sesame seed. Nice. What are you? Time. Ooh. I forgot there's new... Where are they all going? Well, Juniper did place a special order for a dozen newts the other day. She marked the request as bath supplies for some reason. I wasn't sure I'd be able to swing it, but I managed to source them from Dell at the last minute. Look, I don't go asking too many questions. I'm just the middleman. I forgot I was supposed to give him a copper ingot. Let me go get a copper ingot to give to Ballard. What are you? Pretty! Night Queen. What are you? Cosmos. Also pretty. Oh, we also need to look at the calendar for birthdays. Birthdays! Birthdays! Bug. Oh. Just a normal bug. Okay. Apparently I do need to go to the store for things. I forgot to make dinner. Oh no! We're gonna have salmon and rice and veggies for dinner. I got a piece of fish on sale at the grocery store a couple weeks ago. So I thought it, and now I'm gonna cook it, and it'll be yummy. I'm excited. Peaches! Millions of peaches. Peaches for me. Alright, I have a ton of stuff to do right now, probably. Yeah. That's it? Huh. Alright. Dang. What is that? What are those? Looks like more flower. Oh, it is. Summer flower set. Okay. Summer forage set. Mines artifact. Buried artifact set. Grass insect set. I'm assuming these are going to be other seasons. Alright. Hi, Hayden. Wait, I'll say hi to you. From one farmer to another, you're doing great work. Oh, thanks, Hayden. That's so nice. Thank you. You're making white chicken chili for dinner plus meal prep. Nice. Sounds good. Nom nom. That bug is blinking. Who are you? Magma beetle. Damn. Oh, where did Balor go? Whoops. Map. Balor. Is that you? I think that's you. Yeah. Come here. Here you go. I'll need to run some tests to confirm the copper's purity. But between you and me, I think I should have no trouble selling this. Alright. All my hard work, and he's just gonna sell it. Alright, who else was I supposed to talk to? Juniper and Dell. Juniper is at the general store. Oh, Chi, do you need something? I'm in dire need of gossip. Got any for me? Well, now that you mention it. Some of my most critical potion ingredients have been going missing lately. At first I thought I must have misplaced them. But it's starting to seem like they're slipping out of the cauldron all by themselves. That's not supposed to happen, normally. I had no choice but to trade Balor some of those rubies he likes so much in order to restock my supply. Ooh, that's a clue that now we know that Balor likes rubies. Slimy business all around. Oh yeah, totes. What's up, Ulrich? Fruits and vegetables, that's the good stuff. You bet, sir. Who's this future wife of mine on screen? Juniper? She runs the bathhouse in town. No, bring her back! No, she's a bitch. Actually, she's not so bad now. At first, when you first meet her, she's kind of a jerk. And she does that, like, classic 90s anime laugh, that kind of laugh. My wife! Aww. We just get the game and they, oh, Celine. Hi, Celine. Wait, their outfits changed. She has a different outfit. The Ajusama laugh, yes. I love her laugh so much. It was her or the mayor lady. My character in Elan's game is a woodland druid who speaks the true names of flowers. Want to read my character bio? Sure. Juniper. This is Juniper. Elsie's birthday is coming up this week. I want to give her a gift, but what do you get the woman who has everything? I don't know. Apparently she likes gossip. Alright, we gotta find Dell. Where's Dell at? Oh, they're over here. Are they heading to the beach? That's where all the kiddos are. The colors did change. Everything got brighter in summer, which is kind of nice. I knew you'd like her! That's funny. A gift card? Wait, what are you talking about? I went the wrong way. Wait, are they at the beach now? They're not. Where'd they go? Oh, they're going north. Chase the kids! After the children! Wait, they're gone again. Where'd they go? They're back in town! That's where I started! Give her someone who has everything. Oh! Should be my wife. Aw. Dell, come here! Found her. Hey, Chi. I mean... How can the Dragon Guard assist you, citizen? Have any intel to share? Intel? Is that a kind of newt? Because in that case, you're in luck. I've got a whole pocket full. Where did you get newts? I've been tasked with saving them. Go on. Well, maybe not tasked with exactly. But it's the Dragon Guard's job to help those in need. I found them in the bathhouse, swimming around in Juniper's weird soup. Newts don't belong in soup. Even I knew that. So I've been helping them and Miss Juniper at the same time. Plus, Mr. Baller let me trade a bunch of them for my favorite chocolate. What's he doing with them? Who knows? It's not the Dragon Guard's job to ask questions. Wait. So, Dell is stealing the newts from Juniper and giving them to Baller, and then Baller is selling them back to Juniper. What the heck? Oh my god, that's hilarious. What? That's so funny. It's a racket, I tell you. That Baller, he's shady. He's shady business. Alright, we gotta find Elsie. It looks like she's at the inn. Oh my god, that's too funny. I love that. That's so clever. Gee, you answered my request. I'm so glad someone else in Mistria loves to hear a good bit of gossip. You're not gonna believe what Dell's doing. Oh, trading some ill-gotten goods for candy, you say? How scandalous. Dell does love her chocolate. But what would her mother think of all this? This chat has been most delightful. If you're ever in the mood for a bit of daily gossip, do stop by. I'm happy to share any tidbits I've picked up. Once per day, you can get gift hints from Elsie by choosing gossip. Oh, that's cute. All right. She'll give you a selection of 3 villagers to choose from, indicating in the hint if the hint is for a liked or loved gift. Make your choice to reveal one of the villagers' gifts preferences. Hinted gifts will appear as faded icons in the NPC journal page until actually gifted. Note the solid tulip. Okay. Got it. So if I go in here... Oh, it's in here. So I wonder if... Because we learned that Ballard likes rubies. It's not in there, though. So I bet if we gave Ballard a ruby, he'd like it. Because Juniper said that he likes rubies. Alright. Okay, this is something for the museum. And so is this. Alright. Let's go to the museum again. It's a racket. It really is. That's so funny. Too funny, y'all. Rare insects. Let's go. Summer. I have a feeling it's going to be all a bunch of herbs because this was thyme and this was sage. Alright, let's go back home and empty our inventory. Bug. Fuzzy moth. Home sweat home. Alright, this can go in here. Oh, what'd you bring me? Gifts. I'm gonna keep a peach. I'm gonna sell the other 2. What did you bring me? Oregano. See, I was right. I'll sell these bugs I don't need. I guess I'll just do some farm cleanup. Use up the rest of our stamina. I still gotta upgrade my wood axe. That was lucky that was a rock, because I can't see what it is. Dang it! Here we go. I think what I'll end up doing eventually is, oh yeah, that was something I can put in there. I'll like, whenever I can build my barn, I'll build a fence for the animals, and inside the fence I'll grow grass for them to eat. But until then, I'm just gonna keep, cutting it down, because I want to see what's going on my farm right now. We're trying to see things, you know? Same thing with trees. Now that I know that I can regrow them on my own. Where are you? I think I have one of you. A cricket. Let's go. Oh no! I didn't realize how late it was! Run, 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 run! We're not gonna make it! Woo! I made it in time! I didn't realize it was that late already. Nice. Ooh, money. Let's go. Looked like a little leprechaun outfit. It's LT's birthday. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it. It is time. Yeah, find someone to raid. See who's live right now. Ugh. And I'm gonna go make dinner. I'm starving. Babe's probably hungry too. Big Big is live? Oh my gosh. Gosh, I don't know who to raid. I think Big Big at my raid. Let's raid Big Big. Get out of my chips. You got your own chips. I'm finishing up and then I'll make dinner. Oops. Hey, turn my light back on, sucker. Just came in here, shutting lights off and whatnot. All right, we're gonna raid Vig. It's playing Minecraft. Minecraft. Looks like they're doing some kind of competition or something. Oh, wait. It looks like he's done. Let me refresh. Oh, he just went offline. Dang it. All right, we gotta find someone else to raid. Baby, no money. Let's raid. Thanks, Matt. Make sure you stay for the raid, though. I don't know who to raid. That's two. You know what? Maybe I'll raid Shella. You're playing with Rainy? Nice. Let's see if I can raid Shella. I can. All right. We're going to go raid Shella. She's playing Animal Crossing. If you're a subby, you're going to use the first raid call. If you're not a subby, then you're going to use the Nemo Pops raid call. Pop, pop, pop. And I have a special event tomorrow that I'll be live for at 3 p.m. Me and Red and Les are going to be playing an early access game. Multiplayer game looks really cute. And it should be really good. And yeah, so tune in tomorrow. You're welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the love and support today, guys. I appreciate you. Now get the fuck out. Goodbye. I love you.